Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Well, happy Thanksgiving again. As you guys have been following this past week, this last couple of weeks, I really should have changed the title of my show to the Peter Dislike, like Bachelor Show or something like that. I went on a blind date that a friend of mine had organized, and it was a small group. He and his wife and had invited one other couple, and then there was this two others that were also, I think, also on a blind date, and then me and the girl. So it all turned out very well. And so I noticed a few things in the blind date. I enjoyed this a lot better than other events because it was a small group, there was no alcohol involved, and it wasn't noisy. I noticed that there is one problem with noisy events. Number one, it's noisy. And number two, it forces you to speak in a loud voice. If I'm meeting a girl that I like and I want to say something to her and I have to scream 1,000 decibels, it distorts the chemistry of what I'm trying to say, and that's really important to me. There's another problem though. Sometimes I try to look for events that don't involve alcohol. Good luck trying to find that. And number two, when you do find it, it's usually people who are trying to recover. And so I don't know if I should say this, but I I really don't want to hang around people where half the group is going to eventually relapse and have some kind of problem, right? And the other half is craving stuff all the time. I really don't like that kind of energy. I wish those people well, but that's not the kind of energy that I like to hang around. And so these events where somebody uh, matches me up with a group or with a date, I think these are my best bet. Unfortunately, they're very difficult to look for, and that's where my second lesson comes into play. My second lesson is that I have to be more direct on what I want to ask for, which I was with my friend at the church. Right, I want to practice doing that more, and so I think now's a good time to ask other people if there's any blind date opportunities. Now that I'm feeling upbeat and have an ongoing date, it's probably a good time to ask because I'm not going to feel desperate, and I'm much more tolerant of getting no for an answer at the moment, right? So I'm going to ask for other things too. I made a mistake earlier this year, last month, and you guys may remember this. When I had asked one of my colleagues, last month I was depressed out of my mind. I was unable to drive very safely. I got into multiple near miss car accidents in the space of a week. And I asked a couple of my colleagues if they could drive me to work, and I only live 2 miles away, and none of my colleagues really took me seriously. I think I wasn't being direct enough. What had happened was one of my colleagues, who's a little bit more senior than I am, she suggested that I take an FMLA from work. And you know what? I did think about that, but I think that would have worsened my situation. Why? Because part of the reason that I was so messed up was because I was lonely. That's not the solution that I was looking for. I really needed my work. I needed a break from driving, that was for sure. Here in Apache Junction, we don't have very good public transportation options. And I should have been more direct with her and told her about my situation. It doesn't help that it's a working relationship, right? See, I wish if we lived in Taiwan, this is something that I would have confided. Here in America, we have this strict boundary where you don't discuss personal stuff at work, right? Um, in some ways, I wish we would relax that a little bit more, but we don't have a very good. Uh, we have a very individualistic culture, right, where everybody for themselves. And in Taiwan, I think if we lived in Taiwan, I would probably tell my colleague, "Hey, there's something I want to tell you. I've been extremely lonely as of late. If you know the right person and you could set me up on a blind date, I would appreciate that. Good luck trying to say that to a colleague here in the U.S. Right? And also, there's something else I want to tell you about. I had 3 near miss car accidents this week because can't take my mind off of that. I know you suggested I take an FMLA, but actually, I think that would worsen the situation because part of the problem was that I was lonely. The last thing I need is to also not have work going on, right? I need a break from driving. I need my job, but I need a break from driving. Would you please have it in your heart to? Yeah. I don't think she necessarily was unable to help. Period. She probably didn't recognize that the FMLA suggestion wasn't exactly the right fit, and I mean, nobody's gonna love the idea of having to drive somebody, but I think if she appreciated what was going on, it could have played out very differently, and that's where being more direct, right? The friend at church, I didn't depend on him to pay my bills, right? So I could be more direct with him. I really despise if we dissociated work from our livelihoods. I probably would have said that, right? So hopefully one day we'll have a post-scarcity environment where work will just be another one of our hobbies, right? In that kind of world, I probably would have been more open at my job about a lot of things, not just the commute, right? Not just about the working conditions and all that, right? All right, so please continue to pray for me by leaving a dislike. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.